Good afternoon, and welcome to the Next News Network. I'm Gary Franchi, and right now we're bringing you a show that could very well change the course of history. We're streaming live on YouTube to millions worldwide, and we're also live on Rumble and X. If you're not following us there, you need to do that right now. Now, this is not just another news program. This is your lifeline to the truth in a world gone mad. Now, before we dive in, I need you to do something crucial. Share the stream right now. Send a text message to everyone you know who cares about this country. We need to bypass the algorithms and get this information out there. The mainstream media won't tell you what's really going on, but we will. And speaking of what's really going on, let me tell you, folks, we are living in unprecedented times. World War III isn't just a possibility anymore. It's happening right now before our eyes. Iran has launched a devastating missile attack on Israel, and the world is holding its breath to see what happens next. But that is just the beginning. Right here at home, we're facing an economic crisis that could bring this country to its knees. Over 45,000 dock workers are on strike, threatening to shut down our ports and cripple our already fragile supply chain. If that's not enough, tonight, the vice presidential debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz. But don't expect a fair fight. The mainstream media is already sharpening their knives, ready to pounce on Vance while giving Walz a free pass. Meanwhile, the left is having a complete meltdown. They're crying on live TV, folks, literally crying. But we will show you why their tears are nothing but hypocrisy. And finally, we've got some breaking news about a new book and a movie that President Trump's allies are set to release. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Now, I want you to be part of the show. We're going to be interacting with you, our viewers, throughout the night. Share your thoughts in the live chat. Send us your Rumble rants to be featured on the show. And we want to hear from you because your voice matters. But listen closely. We need your support to keep this show going. The powers that be would love nothing more than to shut us down. That's why we need your donations. The link is in the description. Every dollar helps us fight back against the lies and the corruption. So buckle up, America. This is the Next News Network. You're watching the live feed, the raw feed, and we're about to take you on a journey through the stories that really matter, the ones they don't want you to hear. Stay tuned, stay alert, and most importantly, stay free. And now it's time to welcome you to the show. Let's see who's in the house tonight. What's up, chat? How are you guys doing? Sound off where you are watching from, and city, state, country, whatever you're comfortable with, as well as what kind of device. We always want to know where everyone's watching from, especially it helps everyone understand the community that they're a part of here when they watch this program and participate in this show. We got Lisa is calling in, watching from Florida. We got Jamie from Edinburgh. We got Austin in New York. Sean is here. Blex and Denise and Treva, Shiryu, Ohio, DGN777. Flash Diane is here. Samuel Matlock in the house as well. We've got Blex, Flowers, Patrick, St. Michael, Fred, Redmond, Billy Earnhardt, Pretzel Maker, Sean is here, PJ is here, Dingo Booty is in the house, Lisa is here, Bernio J2626 in the house from Northern California, Sentinel Alert Town Crier is in the house as well, Boston, Massachusetts, we've got Mary Ellen, and everybody is here, and got lots of news to get into, and we just got some breaking news that came in from Netanyahu. The State Department has issued a statement as well. We've got reaction from everybody tonight on this breaking news that's very, very troubling. So let's jump right into it, shall we? Tonight, we're witnessing what could be the opening salvo of World War III. Iran has launched over 400 hypersonic ballistic missiles at Iran, overwhelming the Iron Dome and striking targets across the country, including Tel Aviv. Israel is preparing to retaliate, and the world is holding its breath. Meanwhile, where is our leadership? Biden and Harris are busy having meetings and issuing weak statements. And this is what happens when you have a non-existent president and an absent vice president, as Trump rightly points out. Now, check this out. Are you listening? With Iran launching missiles at Israel and the threat of World War III looming, our country's national debt has surpassed $35 trillion. We're borrowing just to pay interest, digging a deeper hole. Meanwhile, gold has surpassed $2,400 an ounce as smart money shifts to what the Constitution deems as real money, gold and silver. If you have funds in a low-interest account or 401k or IRA, call Global Gold Investments for their free 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. The number's on the screen, 888-700-4148. Mention Next News for 5-star treatment and a complimentary portfolio analysis. Remember, if you don't have gold, you don't have wealth. Okay, let's jump right into this because this is all breaking right now, real time. Let's just jump right into Netanyahu's remarks. He said, Iran made a big mistake tonight. This is just a few moments ago.
Citizens of Israel, I begin by sending condolences to the families of the victims of the heinous attack in Jaffa and wishing a full recovery to the injured. Just like in the missile attack, there is a guiding and murderous hand behind this attack as well. It comes from Tehran. This evening, Iran, once again, attacked Israel with hundreds of missiles. This attack failed. It was thwarted thanks to Israel's air defense system, which is the most advanced in the world. And I commend the IDF for this impressive achievement. It was also thwarted thanks to the vigilance and responsibility you, citizens of Israel, have shown. And I also thank the US for its support in our defense effort. Iran made a big mistake this evening, and it will pay for it. The regime in Iran does not understand our determination to defend ourselves and our resolve to retaliate against our enemies. Sinwar and Daif did not understand this. Nasrallah and Mossad did not understand this. And apparently there are those in Tehran who do not understand this. They will understand. We will stand by the principle we set. Whoever attacks us, we attack them. This is true everywhere we fight the axis of evil. This is true for Judea and Samaria. This is true for Gaza, for Lebanon, for Yemen, for Syria. And this is also true for Iran. We fight the axis of evil everywhere, including our heroic soldiers who are now operating in southern Lebanon and in Gaza. Today, more than ever, the forces of light in the world must unite and act together against the dark regime of the Ayatollahs, which is the source of terror and evil in our region. They must stand with Israel. The choice has never been clearer between tyranny and freedom, between blessing and curse. On the eve of Rosh Hashanah, I tell you, citizens of Israel, Israel is on the rise. The axis of evil is in retreat. We will do whatever it takes to continue this trend, achieve all war objectives, foremost among them, the return of all our captives, and to ensure our existence and our future. A good and open year to all of you, warmly.
Oh, that message was just released. We've also got the Sullivan giving a press conference at the White House. President Biden says he fully supports Israel. Spent part of the day in the Situation Room. Part of the day. World War III is on the brink, and he's spending part of the day there. Of course, the rhetoric that we've been hearing for years is that Trump is going to lead us into World War III. Here's a post. This is Politico back in 2017. Trump leading the U.S. on a path to World War III. Well, we can clearly see that Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have brought us to the brink of World War III. On the eve of an election, on October 1st. Is this the October surprise? Who knows? Certainly could be. Eric Trump, Democrats, you have effectively put the U.S. and the rest of the world into World War III. This was just in November of 23. This was stated. World War III looms as U.S. election nears. Our enemies know there is no one running this country right now, as Democrats kicked out Biden in a political coup. Clueless Kamala can't even deal with deadly flooding in North Carolina, much less World War III. America and the world needs Trump. The times demand it. Donald Trump issuing a statement that the world is on fire and spiraling out of control. We have no leadership, no one running the country. We have a non-existent president in Joe Biden and a completely absent vice president, Kamala Harris, who is too busy fundraising in San Francisco, a city which she and Gavin Newsom totally destroyed, and staging fake photo ops. No one is in charge, and it's not even clear who is more confused, Biden or Kamala. Neither has any idea what is even going on. When I was president, Iran was in total check. They were starved for cash, fully contained, and desperate to make a deal. Kamala flooded them with American cash, and ever since, they've been exporting terror all over and unraveling the Middle East. Under President Trump, we had no war in the Middle East, no war in Europe, and harmony in Asia, no inflation, no Afghanistan catastrophe. Instead, we had peace. Now war, or the threat of war, is raging everywhere, and the two incompetents running this country are leading us to the brink of World War III. You wouldn't trust Joe or Kamala to run a lemonade stand, let alone lead the free world. It's no surprise that Iran desperately wants Kamala Harris to be president because they know as long as she is in power, they can take advantage of America. This is why they've tried to target me. If I was in charge, October 7th never happens. Russia, Ukraine never happens. Afghanistan botched withdrawal never happens, and inflation never happens. If I win, we'll have peace in the world again. If Kamala gets 4 more years, the world goes up in smoke, and we are witnessing that right now. Let's take a look at what Sullivan said.
Thank you, Karine, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to provide a brief report on the Iranian ballistic missile attack against Israel that occurred earlier today. I can take just a few questions because this is an ongoing situation and I need to get back to my desk. Today, Iran launched nearly 200 ballistic missiles towards targets in Israel. The United States military coordinated closely with the Israeli Defense Forces to help defend Israel against this attack. U.S. naval destroyers joined Israeli air defense units in firing interceptors to shoot down inbound missiles. President Biden and Vice President Harris monitored the attack and the response from the White House Situation Room, joined in person and remotely by their national security team. We are still working with the IDF and the authorities in Israel to assess the impact of the attack. But at this time, and I stress at this time, we do not know of any deaths in Israel. We are tracking the reported death of a Palestinian civilian in Jericho in the West Bank. We do not know of any damage to aircraft or strategic military assets in Israel. In short, based on what we know at this point, this attack appears to have been defeated and ineffective. This was first and foremost the result of the professionalism of the IDF, but in no small part because of the skilled work of the U.S. military and meticulous joint planning in anticipation of the attack.
Now, I'm going to show you some video that contradicts what he's saying. Now, the Israelis have the Iron Dome. I mean, it's a very effective defense against these types of attacks. But when you have, 200 to 400 ballistic missiles raining down at one time, there are plenty that will get through. And I'm going to show you the video that is, dozens of videos. But let's continue with this guy.
We're also aware of reports of a terrorist attack in Jaffa that took the lives of a number of Israeli civilians and wounded several others today. Our condolences go out to the families of the victims and to the family of the Palestinian civilian in Jericho. Obviously, my update here is based on early reports, and we reserve the right to amend and adjust as necessary as we gather more information. The word fog of war was invented for a situation like this. This is a fluid situation. We will consult with the Israelis on next steps in terms of the response and how to deal with what Iran has just done, and we will continue to monitor for further threats and attacks from Iran and its proxies. We are particularly focused on protecting U.S. service members in the region. And with that, I'll take just a few questions.
Okay. Yeah, they're going to have to amend that for sure. Now, before I get to some of the previous rhetoric from the left, I'm going to show you some of this footage now. Obviously, like, here you go. These are the guys who are signing bombs meant for Ukraine. These are the warmongers that want to drive us deeper into war. Trump is leading Kamala, so they need to hurry up and start World War III. Biden will resign and Kamala will be president. That is a theory that's been floating around. Kamala Harris is allowing World War III to start. Harris and Biden will be blamed for World War III. Biden and Harris are leading the world into World War III. Our servicemen and women are being shipped off to a bloody Middle East once again. Take a look at this video. This is the video of the Iranian ballistic missile launch. Now, I got word of this. A friend of mine called me immediately and said, turn on the news right now. And immediately went to X. Thank you, Tom, for that message. Whenever Tom calls me during the day, it's never a good thing. He's always got something crazy to tell me, and this is what we're seeing. Here is more. Look at these. Look at this shot. That's just one angle. Only Trump can stop World War III. 5 hours ago, Biden said this morning, VP and I convened our national security team to discuss Iranian plans to launch an imminent attack against Israel. We discussed how the U.S. is prepared to help Israel defend against these attacks and protect American personnel in the region. They would all rather have World War III than a Trump win in November, or maybe they all want World War III because Trump is going to win in November, right? The October surprise. All Israeli civilians are in bomb shelters as rockets from Iran are fired at Israel. I saw this map circulating, and it was terrifying. Here you can see, it looks like the Iron Dome is failing. Look at this shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One after another. One after another, missiles raining down. Here's one. 100. Look at this shot.
Have to see what's happened here. 102 rockets is coming from Iran. The crazy military rockets. We have to see. This is for my house. What's happened? All the world have to see what's happened in our sky now in Israel. This is crazy attack from Iran.
Clearly, the Iron Dome is overwhelmed. One after another. Imagine that was raining down in your town. How would you respond? World War III red alarm. Prepare for nuclear annihilation. Who is... Listen, we just got to pray that cool heads prevail here, but you know that Israel is going to strike back, and they're going to strike back hard. This is a clear declaration of war from Iran on Israel. What are they going to do? And I go back to the language of the left that we've been hearing for years, that Trump is a threat. Trump is going to start World War III. All this is happening on Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's watch. All of the death and destruction around the world is because of the United States weakness from the very top at the Oval Office. The airspace of Israel and Jordan and Iraq are reportedly closed. Here's a shot you can see. OSINT Defender, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran, are preparing to release a statement according to Iranian state media. Look at this. This is first confirmed hit of a residential block in Tel Aviv. A residential block, man. Pray for these people. Dozens of ballistic missiles seen in the sky. There's dozens of videos like this. Remember this moment from the debate?
I said, but after I left, when I saw him building up soldiers, he did it after I left. I said, oh, he must be negotiating. It must be a good, strong point of negotiation. Well, it wasn't, because Biden had no idea how to talk to him. He had no idea how to stop it. And now you have millions of people dead, and it's only getting worse, and it could lead to World War III. Don't kid yourself, David. We're playing with World War III, and we have a president that we don't even know if he's... Where is our president? We don't even know if he's a president.
And just to clarify
they
here...
threw him out of a campaign like a dog. We don't even know. Is he our president? But we...
Yeah. Other areas in Israel are being hit with missiles, not just Tel Aviv. The IRGC launched at least 250. This is the response to the assassination of Haniya and Nasrallah. Iran has said if Israel retaliates, there will be more attacks.
Not only dumb and...
Here's Donald Trump again on World War III. He's been warning about this for months, years.
Joe Biden is not only dumb and incompetent, I believe that he has gone mad, a stark, raving lunatic with his horrible and country-threatening environmental open borders and DOJ, FBI weaponization policies. He is a mental catastrophe that is leading our country to hell. We'll end up in World War III because of this man, and for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. Let's see. Terror attack in Israel. Let's take a look at the Fox.
Near to the city of Tel Aviv and Jaffa that sits just to the south of Israel's second largest city, there has been a terror attack. Multiple people shot. First responders are currently on the scene, and initial reports indicate that there were 2 gunmen involved. We're gathering more information about this shooting attack in real time, but I can tell you that the location it took place is a very popular area next to cafes and restaurants, and there are videos circulating online that we will not show here on television that appear to show many bodies next to a light rail station. This is a station that was actually newly built in an area where many young people in Jaffa and Tel Aviv like to hang out quite close to the beach, and an indication that the security situation right now across Israel continues to deteriorate as the country is not only bracing for a possible ballistic missile attack from Iran. Earlier today, people heading to shelters after a rocket attack coming from Lebanon, the Iran-backed group Hezbollah there, and now this developing news out of...
So there was an active shooter situation, I believe, the terror attack. At the same time, these ballistic missiles were being launched. Here's President Trump again.
Country before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after we win the presidency, it's we. I will have the horrible war. That's right. I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine totally settled. I will settle it, and I will and I'm the only one that can say this because these other people have no clue. I will prevent World War III.
So what happens? What happens? Israel is going to counter. They are going to launch something. They're going to strike deep into Iran. Will they use nukes? I certainly hope not. But if that attack has serious teeth, Russia is going to come to the aid of Iran, even more so. Last night, as I was browsing the news wires, I saw that Vladimir Putin had an emergency meeting at the Kremlin. This was last night. This is before this attack. So obviously he was being briefed about what was about to take place today, just hours ago. Maggie Speak says what's really disgusting is the Biden administration gave Iran billions in the past 4 years, enabling them to attack Israel like this. We're going to get dragged into World War III because Biden-Harris Blinken diplomacy doesn't work. When will they learn? The U.S. Embassy in Israel issued a high-level alert to its employees in Palestinian territories, instructing them to return home to be prepared to enter the bomb shelters. That was just 4 hours ago. Again, Donald Trump, another warning.
Very serious. We are in very, very grave danger of having a World War III. And this will be a war. This will be a war of obliteration. This will not be a war with, I say, army tanks going back and forth shooting at each other. This is the real deal. And we have a man that he can't even walk off a stage. He walks off.
Donald Trump's been warning about this. In response to this is the IRGC official statement. In response to the martyrdom of Martyr Haniyah and Syed Hassan Nasrallah and Martyr Nil Roshan, we targeted the heart of occupied lands. As the regime reacts to Iran's operation, it will be hit with a crushing attack. U.S. Embassy in Israel has directed all U.S. government employees and their family members to shelter in place until further notice. The U.S. Embassy in Israel. Remember, the Democrats did everything to start World War III despite desperate attempts to remain in power. 5 hours ago, World War III looms as U.S. elections near. I'm going to play this clip. This is a quick clip from Eric Trump.
About election. And you know what's really amazing? We got to listen to Hillary Clinton for years. Donald Trump doesn't know anything about foreign policy. He doesn't. General, you remember that? Donald Trump is a very unstable man. He can't have his finger on the nuclear button. He doesn't know about the complexity of foreign policy. Hey, good job, Hillary. Good job, Democrats, with foreign policy. You effectively put the United States and the rest of the world into World War III. That's what they've done. And you know, it's actually interesting. It's actually my father's personality, which is extremely tough, that's kept the world out of wars.
Ain't that the truth? Because they're afraid of Donald Trump, they're not going to act. But you got this guy who doesn't even know how to tie his shoes. You got Kamala Harris stringing word salads together all day long. And we are on the brink. Donald Trump just releasing this ad.
He invaded. Like us, China also saw their weakness. So did Putin. Then he invaded Ukraine. Hamas saw Harris' anti-Israel statements and will use it as a green light to keep murdering Israelis. And Iran thinks Harris is so incompetent. New intel shows they're trying to help Harris win the election. America doesn't need another TikTok performer. We need the strength that will protect us.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Like us.
We don't need another TikTok star. We're going to keep monitoring this, bring you the latest. Make sure you follow us on X for all the information we can share with you. So as missiles rain down on Israel and the threat of a wider conflict, World War III on the horizon, we're all left wondering, where's America's leadership? President Trump warned us that Biden and Harris would lead us into World War III, and now we're watching it unfold in real time. The question is, how much worse will it get before we see real action? What do you think America's response should be to this crisis? Say a prayer for peace in the world and for everyone affected. And share your comments in the comments below. Okay, guys, let's get your real-time reactions to this. Mr. Magician, bless Israel and be blessed. Curse Israel and be cursed. Randall says, I love the Israeli people, do not like their government. Everyone should get a dog. I don't have one, but I think I need one, says Wilson. Okay. We support no wars, not Israel. Get that straight. Dang, Trump, that is epic. Running Bear got shut down on X. Siren says, why 20 hours have passed before news outlets began reporting on this? The attack began yesterday evening. Kamala has been unburdened by what has been. Oh, man. Are you guys really supporting Israel? Actually, we're supporting no war. Okay? That's the case. We are not supporting any side here. We are on the side of peace. Let's be very clear. That is to CS, whoever your name is. We got a super rant here MT Promises, Trump 2024. Thank you for that $5. We really appreciate that. Your Rumble rants will be featured on screen. Patrick says Israel got spanked. Udira says USA start this war because it is in bankruptcy. Port strike coincides with the start of World War III. Yeah, that's actually our next topic. So let's get to that. America, we're facing a critical moment. Over 45,000 dock workers from Maine to Texas have walked off the job demanding fair wages in the face of skyrocketing inflation. But the timing could not be worse, with Israel under attack and devastating floods in the southeast. Union boss Harold Daggett, despite his wealth and controversial past, claims he will cripple our economy. Meanwhile, Biden and Harris are nowhere to be found. The question is, where is the leadership America needs right now? Now, check this out. Are you listening? With dock workers on strike, supply chains in chaos, our roads are becoming more unpredictable and dangerous. Truck drivers are working overtime to move what little cargo will be coming through, increasing risk for everyone. Recent reports show that drivers with dash cams are 60% less likely to be found at fault in traffic accidents. This easy-to-install dash cam records every detail, offering collision documentation, 24/7 security, and memorable drive capture. With 4K Ultra HD night vision, 24/7 motion detection, and loop recording, it's crucial for these uncertain times. Visit carvisionx.com for free express shipping and special bonuses. Don't let the port crisis catch you off guard on the road. Okay. Elon Musk brought up something really interesting about this whole longshoreman strike. He simply reacted, wow. And he was reacting to a post from Max Meyer. I didn't know this, but this is crazy. Harold Daggett, the ILA boss who pledged to cripple the United States, he owns a 76-foot yacht, a Bentley, and gets paid over $900,000 a year. Apparently, he was acquitted on RICO charges after the main witness against him, mobster Lawrence Reese, was found decomposing in a car trunk in New Jersey. That's who we're dealing with at the top here. And what's interesting, here's President Trump with that man. Now, I do believe that President Trump could be the only person who could bring these sides to the table, because he knows how to deal with construction people and blue-collar people and unions. That's what he's done his whole life in construction. So if there's anyone that could bring these sides together to come to a resolution, it's this man. And he would be dealing with somebody who was acquitted on RICO charges. Roger Stone says, if Donald Trump were president today, he would call the union president and management to the table. He would mediate until a contract that was good for everyone was hammered out. That is leadership. And the timing of the strike is dasting. ILA president enjoys a long relationship with Donald Trump, going back decades in New York City. Both Trump and Daggett were the same age and were both from Queens, New York. In late November of 2023, former President Trump invited the ILA president to meet with him in Florida and Mar-a-Lago. We had a wonderful, productive 90-minute meeting where I expressed to President Trump that the threat of automation to American workers, said ILA President Harold Daggett, President Trump promised to support the ILA in its opposition to automated terminals in the U.S. Trump also listened to my concerns about the federal right to work laws, which undermines unions and their ability to represent and fight for its membership. And that's what this comes down to, the automation at the ports that put these guys out of business. Donald Trump posting on his Truth Social, dock workers who have officially gone on strike say the biggest reason they have taken to the picket line is because their wages have not kept up with Kamala's inflation.
Members here on the ground. I've also been talking to the members here on the ground, the individuals here that are now taking to the picket line. They tell me one of their top concerns, inflation, that we have all been living under for the past 4 years. They say that their wages are not adequately keeping up with the cost of living increase and that they need these wage increases reflected in their next contract so they can just keep up and get. I've also been talking.
So they can just keep up with the destruction of Biden's America. One of the striking longshoremen explains on Mornings with Maria that the 50% pay increase over the next 8 years is not acceptable.
No problem. Thank you.
Sarah, who I'm pleased to say is joining us right now to get us a better understanding of what some of the issues are that the workers are advocating for yourselves. Joe, thank you so much for sharing your time with us.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So, Joe, one of the issues in this labor negotiation are the wages. And just yesterday, your union rejected an offer of an increase of 50% over 8 years by the employers. Joe, that sounds like a tremendous increase. And I think a lot of people hear about those wage hikes and they think that's a lot, that's awfully generous. But you say you guys deserve it. Tell us more.
Well, I started 27 years ago, and my wage has increased only $25 over the 27 years. So to me, I believe that we've taken less than we've deserved in the past. So now it's time.
And you guys say that you're looking at what the shipping companies are making around the world using ports like right here in New York and New Jersey, the largest port here on the East Coast, and you guys feel like you deserve a slice of this?
We are just looking to be paid fairly and for the goods we take care of every day. And we did not stop during COVID, and we don't want to stop right now.
Yeah.
We are.
You know, the timing of this is really bad. I mean, I think that this alone, not just the World War III situation, but this could definitely tank Biden and Kamala Harris and tank Kamala's entire campaign. Imagine if Trump showed up, brought these guys to the table, and solved the problem, because he could do that. This isn't some foreign policy situation. This is domestic labor, where Trump excels. Imagine if Trump brought these guys to the table and resolved this in front of the world, in front of Kamala. Okay? Apparently the Teamsters are backing these guys, and they told Biden and Harris, stay the hell away from this situation. Here it is. This is the breaking report. Teamsters tell Biden and Harris to stay the F out of the dock workers' strike. MJ Truth Ultra. Somebody asked me to look into it. I did. It's not good. Site rep. East Coast port strikes. The port strike involves dock workers from International Longshoremen Association, commencing at midnight. It already has commenced, affecting ports across the East and the Gulf Coast. Look at that. If those shipping containers don't get offloaded, remember the supply chain problem we had during COVID? It's going to make that look like kindergarten. Oh, and here's the guy. Okay, here's the guy everyone's talking about. Listen to what he says. I will cripple you, and you will have no idea. You have no idea what that means.
But today's world, it's changing into the future. They're not making millions no more. They're making billions, and they're spending it fast as they make it. I want a piece of that for my men, because when they made their most money was during COVID. When my men had to go to work on those piers every single day, when everybody stayed home and went to work. Not my men. They died out there with the virus. We all got sick with the virus. We kept them going. From Canada to Maine to Texas, Great Lakes, Puerto Rico, now the Bahamas, everybody went to work during COVID. Nobody stayed home. Well, I want to be compensated for that. I'm not asking for the world. They know what I want. They know what I want. And if they don't, well, then I have to go into the street and we have to fight for what we rightfully deserve. These people today don't know what a strike is.
Right.
When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port, a lockdown. You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. they lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier? It's going to cost the company's money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. And in today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means. Nobody does.
I don't even know how to respond. I mean, this sounds like a threat. Now, these guys, they work hard. They bring in the goods into the United States. But what this guy is saying, I mean, it's terrifying when you think about just they are the main point of the supply chain. Without them, the whole country shuts down. You think everything's going to start coming in on the Pacific side? Holy cow. Here's more. Let's see. We have this is Union power! Union power! Union power! Union power! And where's Joe Biden? Where's Kamala Harris? Dock workers reports from Maine to Texas go on strike, risking new shortages.
Midnight. More than 45,000 dock workers from Maine to Texas are now on strike for the first time since 1977. They walked off the job once the clock struck midnight. Workers are demanding higher wages and a total ban on automation in the ports. Experts warn the strike could disrupt supply chains and raise prices for consumers. The timing could also cause tremendous disruptions to this year's holiday shopping season, which usually gets into full swing next month. Officials also say the walkout has the potential to become the most disruptive strike to the U.S. economy in decades. Just a week-long strike could cost the U.S. economy $3.8 billion. More than 45,000
billions of dollars. Products not coming in. 45,000 dock workers, U.S. port workers officially gone on strike from Maine to Texas for the first time since 1977. I go back to the point that Donald Trump could resolve this, and this could really destroy Kamala Harris's campaign. Now, I'm gonna get a little conspiratorial here for just a second, if you don't mind, YouTube. This meeting took place back here. This meeting with Trump took place back in November of 23, when he met with Trump. I mean, he was already expressing his concerns. He was already echoing the reality that a strike is coming. And think of these guys know each other. Now, I'm not saying Donald Trump like instigated this or told him to do it. But what I'm saying is the fact these guys are both from New York City, have a long relationship, the same age, they're both from Queens. Like these are good old boys right here. I mean, if Trump was like, you know what? Yeah, just do it a month before the election. And I'll come in and I'll fix it and I'll be the hero. I'm not saying he did that, but that's like where my mind goes sometimes. A couple of New York boys plotting against Kamala and Biden. Hey man, they've been plotting against Trump. I mean, since he went down that escalator. Impeachments, indictments, trying to bankrupt him, put him in prison. Sometimes you got to fight fire with fire. Maybe this is a little bit of that fire, huh? I don't know. It's just, I'll be like, yeah, good for you, Trump. But I mean, the amount of pain that everyone else is going to feel I'm not. Okay, look, I know I'm going a little bit overboard here, but I still think that anything's possible these days, man. I don't know. Maybe you guys. What do you guys think in the comments? Sam Hildebrand says, "What if this is the October surprise? What if the longshoremen are working with Kamala? She comes in, negotiates a deal, and becomes our savior. Thoughts?" Well, I just proposed the complete opposite of that. What if the longshoremen are working with Trump, and he comes in, negotiates a deal, and becomes our savior? I mean, it can go either way. So we're going to continue to monitor this. This is pretty bad. We got another clip here. This is Charlie Kirk. Oh wow. Okay, let's listen to this before we jet out.
Trying to get us to
over the weekend. The past
Secretary of Labor Julie Su has been terrific. She's knocking down doors. She's trying to stop this. She's trying to get us to a media where we can have a fair negotiations. It's the companies that don't want to. They don't want to sit here and be fair. So that's why we're out here fighting for our livelihood.
What more from the automation do you want? What more protections could there be?
What more?
Yeah, they have language in there now.
Not strong enough, because what happens is they come in with new technology. We just caught them in Mobile, Alabama, called Autogate, and that means the trucks are coming in and they're already checked in somewhere else and not using the checkers in the ILA. Circumventing the contract. They don't care. They don't care. It's not fair. And if we don't put our foot down now, they would like to run over us, and we're not going to allow that.
You are going to grind the economy to a halt here on the East Coast and the Gulf Coast.
No, not us. They are. Don't spin it now, because you're Fox News. They're going to drive it.
But are you worried?
They're going to drive it.
Are you worried that this strike?
They have the capital to settle this thing.
Are you worried that this strike is going to hurt the everyday American, the farmers that need to reach the export market? They're telling me that they're going to hurt through all of this.
Now you start to realize who the longshoremen are, right?
Nobody cares.
People never gave a about us until now, when they finally realized that the chain is being broke now. Cars won't come in, food won't come in, clothing won't come in. You know how many people depend on our jobs? Half the world. And it's time for them and time for Washington to put so much pressure on them to take care of us, because we took care of them and we're here 135 years and brought them where they are today, and they don't want to share. And I'm done.
Fox Business' Lydia Hu joins us now from the port of Newark in New Jersey. And I've been following you. We have been, as you've done this story for us. And now the rubber has met the road. And he feels like he's dug in and feels like he's in a strong position. Is he in as strong a position as he thinks or appears to seem to be?
You know, he certainly feels like he's in a strong position, and he's probably looking around at other unions and the wage gains and the record contracts that they have notched in recent years. I mean, just last year, the West Coast port workers got a new contract with a 32% wage hike over 4 years. So now Mr. Daggett, the president, is looking at that and saying, we want that and better. Just yesterday, Dana, Mr. Daggett rejected port management's offer of a 50% wage hike over 8 years. Just to give you an idea of where they stand right now, it does seem like the two sides are still far apart, but he does at least see over the weekend, the past couple.
What did the quartering have to say about that? He put out a tweet. If you guys don't know who he is, you should follow his show. He said, the dock workers' average salary is in the six figures. East Coast longshoremen with 6 or more years of experience earn $39 an hour. That's according to New York Times. They declined a 50% raise and holding you hostage to negotiate. I will cripple you and you will have no idea what that means. And he just calls it sick. So, I mean, I don't know where you guys stand on this. And the port strike highlights the complex challenges that's facing our nation. While workers struggle with inflation, union leadership faces scrutiny with Israel under attack and natural disasters at home. The stakes couldn't be higher. Well, President Trump has a history of bringing parties to the table and finding solutions. Could this crisis be the final straw for the Harris campaign? What do you think? How should America's leadership address this perfect storm of crises? Share your thoughts below. Okay, let's get your reaction to some of my comments regarding, thinking about when I saw that picture of those guys together and they're like from Queens, the same age, I'm like, meeting, shaking hands, they're buddies. Who knows, right? Scott Edwards says we want $100 an hour. No one is really standing up. If you stand with Israel, you may go live there. America has had too good for too long. Barry Hussein, Obama. Wow. This is the beginning of this place imploding. Trump's October surprise ends 2 wars, ends the strike, and helps the hurricane victims all in 1 week. Wouldn't that be the October surprise? That's Vagabond Life making a comment there. Let's see what else we got here. Dock workers went on strike during World War II. The federal government made a deal with the Italian mafia to strong-arm the dock workers to return to work. Randy says Kamala can't handle anything. If the fix is in, and I do believe the DNC will do whatever they can to cheat the USA is over, or it will be in the not-too-distant future. Can everyone say implosion, says John. First world problem, says build traffic. Jeremy says, hot as Hades here, almost 80 in the Redwoods coast of Northern California. Nicholas says, well, do you want your phones? Can everyone say, where was Nicholas? Do you want your phones, internet, and power to stop working? Would you support these unions striking? Jesus is coming. Glory, hallelujah. Amen. Can't come fast enough. Aries Vision says, if I remember right, didn't Reagan bring in the military during a strike? Why isn't Biden doing anything? It's crazy. It's crazy to see what happens next. Like October 1st, we're like a month out from this election. When all this is happening, October is going to be crazy. We got missiles launched at Israel, 400 ballistic missiles from Iran. The kickoff of World War III, in many people's opinion. The longshoreman strike. It's going to cripple our economy. You got these disasters in southeast United States. Whole towns wiped out by flooding. Hundreds, if not thousands, of people unaccounted for. I mean, what else? What am I missing? You go, oh yeah, and you had that crazy chemical fire with a biolab in Georgia. You saw those plumes of smoke? I mean, everywhere I turn, I see madness in the headlines. Madness. There's no way. There's no way to turn around. But that's because I choose to go head first into this news every day. Believe me, it's not easy. You got to be really callous to understand and be able to look at some of the stuff I see every day. The stuff I don't show you. Oh. Okay, enough of that. We got to get this next story out. This is the Vance-Walz debate. The Vance-Walz debate. Let's get it going. Let's see. I think Trump did release a video. Yes. This is great. Okay. Buckle up, Patriots, because tonight we are in for a showdown that could shape the future of our nation. J.D. Vance, a patriot who puts America first, faces off against Tim Walz, the man who let Minneapolis burn in 2020. But make no mistake, this is not just a debate, it's a fight against the entire corrupt system. The mainstream media is already sharpening their knives, ready to coddle Walz while trying to trip up Vance, but Vance is ready. He's not just debating Walz, he's taking on the establishment itself. And as we watch Vance and Walz debate, it's clear that appearance matters in politics, but countless Americans waste time and money trying to look younger, missing the real problem, decreasing collagen reserves. After 20, your body produces 12% less collagen each decade. Excess wrinkles. Well, you might be collagen deficient. That's why I use this magic powder. Unlike typical supplements, it combines the top 5 critical collagen types for skin health. It reduces visible aging signs, wrinkles, and promotes elasticity. Get it at 51% off at healthwithgary.com. Order now for free VIP coaching and an ebook on skin-friendly foods, a 60-day guarantee, and free shipping. Look as sharp as Vance on that debate stage. All right. Okay. Donald Trump has just posted an epic video ahead of this debate. It's going viral across the internet. Shall we watch it together? Let's.
A lot of people feel like the American dream is further and further away. That if you work hard and play by the rules, it's a little bit harder to get ahead. It's a little bit harder to support a family, a little bit harder to buy a home. The world I grew up in was one where I think for the first time really in American history, my parents' generation did not expect their children to necessarily have a better life than they did. And you saw that in all kinds of different ways, but there was this sense growing up in Middletown in the 1990s that a lot of people didn't expect the future to be better than the past, and that's a really unique and a really tragic thing. The jobs started to disappear from that community, drugs started to move in, hopelessness started to move in, and so a lot of people who really knew that the future would be better than the past actually found a world that was a lot more difficult and a lot more challenging. I wrote Hillbilly Elegy because I wanted to give people a sense of what it was like to live in a community like mine. I didn't think a whole lot of stories were told about white working class Americans. I didn't think a lot of stories were told about people who were struggling with some of the problems we were struggling with, joblessness, drug addiction, and so forth. And I thought that I could tell a story that would make people understand my family a little bit better, and maybe in the process, understand the struggles of a lot of families. I come from the places that I want to represent, and what we need is to stop sending people that are of the DC swamp. We need to send people who are of the places they aim to represent. I want to fight for the people that I come from.
The American media has been laundering foreign disinformation. It is disgusting. Instead of talking about the crises in our country, they try to silence the people who are experiencing them. Who do you want answering the phone? Do you want a person who hides from the friendly American media, or do you want a person who takes a bullet to the head and stands up and says, fight, fight, fight? Kamala Harris, you ought to have respect enough for your own people to enforce their border laws and listen to them. Listen to them when they complain about it. Don't pretend they're bad people. We're not bad people for loving this country. You're a bad person for doing this to the country in the first place.
Now, that was beautiful. Lots of commentary coming out tonight. Something to keep in mind for the debate, though. A whistleblower has informed GOP oversight about U.S. intelligence uncovering verified links between the CCP and vice presidential candidate Tim Walz. Will Vance bring that up tonight? That he is under investigation. Steve Cortez, 6 hours ago. J.D. Vance is going to destroy Tim Walz in the VP debate tonight. Kamala is worried. Listen to
Defunding the police is a guy who's proposed shipping more manufacturing jobs to China, who wants to make the American people more reliant on garbage energy instead of good American energy, and has proposed defunding the police just as Kamala Harris does. I think it's interesting, actually. They make an interesting tag team because, of course, Tim Walz allowed rioters to burn down Minneapolis in the summer of 2020, and then the few who got caught, Kamala Harris helped bail them out of jail. So it is more instructive for what it says about Kamala Harris, that she doesn't care about the border, she doesn't care about crime, she doesn't care about American energy, and most importantly, she doesn't care about the Americans who have been made to suffer under those policies.
No, they don't care. They want the destruction of this country. Oh, listen to this. Some newly uncovered audio of Tim Walz. This is what he thinks about flyover country, red states.
You see those maps. Red and blue, and there's all that red across there, and Democrats go into depression over it. It's mostly rocks and cows that are in that red area.
Rocks and cows. That's what he thinks about you guys. All you red state folks, just rocks and cows. J.D. Vance won't just be debating Tim Walz tonight. Here's Nora O'Donnell, who blames Trump for attempts on his life. Get ready for another 3-on-1 debate tonight.
Donald Trump is blaming Democrats for inflaming political rhetoric, but the former president's own words seem to be increasing the threat of political violence in Springfield, Ohio. That's where a false and ugly accusation against Haitians, thousands of whom are legal permanent residents, is impacting everyday life. CBS's Nicole Killian reports on the growing.
Yeah, get ready for them to bring up the dogs and cats thing. That's going to come up tonight. Mark my words. Here's Tim Walz admitting he supports single-payer government-run Medicare for all. Donald Trump Jr. just posted this.
Are you for single-payer?
I think that's probably the path where we end up.
I'm not sure what your answer was. Are you for single-payer health?
Yes, that was the answer I just gave you. But
you
the
said
issue
you think we're going to go there, but are you for it? Are you going to push to put?
Yes,
to get us there?
I'm for not paying twice as much as any other industrialized nation, getting half for it. I'm making sure that the 14 top nations that get the best returns at the least cost end up making sure that you cut out that piece of the simply payer, getting between people and their doctors.
Are you for?
Oh, he's great. He's great at the word salads too, isn't he? Great. A reporter asked Vance how he was preparing for that debate.
Well, I'd like to know how you were prepping for a debate with Tim Walz, who has described himself as a bad debater. Who's helping you, and how are you prepping?
Well, I found a good friend from back home who embellishes and lies a lot, and I'm having him stand in for Tim Walz. That's what we're doing during our debate. But look, all kidding aside, what we're going to do is we're going to focus a lot on policy, right? The way that I'm trying to prepare is to try to make sure that we're prepared to answer the American people's questions on how we're going to make their lives better, how we're going to make their communities safer, how we're going to bring back prosperity and low prices to the American economy.
I'd like to know how you were
Oh boy, it's going to be a great show tonight. Trump senior advisor Corey Lewandowski on Tim Walz. This is 6 hours ago.
To the issue of abortion that allows women. He has extreme values. That's the problem. He's an extreme leftist. We saw what he did during the riots in Minnesota. We saw what he has done when it comes to the issue of abortion, signing a bill that allows women to have abortion in the 9th month. That's an extreme position that is outside the realm of the mainstream, and that'll be on display tonight.
Oh, yeah. Larry O'Donnell, 19 hours ago, and some random Kamala intern are crying because CBS moderators won't be doing one-sided fact-checking.
Any fact. So what was your personal reaction when you heard that CBS News is forbidding the moderators of tomorrow night's debate from doing any fact-checking?
Well, look, unfortunately, CBS is in a tough spot because if they allowed that, it would mean that their moderators were fact-checking all night, given J.D. Vance and the lies that he is going to spew on stage. But what I will say is that it's unfortunate that we have to have conversations like this because of the type of lying and discord that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance bring to our political system. But I think that Governor Walz is going to be prepared not only to hold J.D. Vance accountable for the lies that he continues to spew while he is doubling down on Donald Trump's divisive agenda. He is also going to be prepared to talk about his vision for this country alongside Vice President Harris to usher in a new way forward that all Americans can not just get by, but to get ahead. And so Governor Walz will be ready.
So, for example, if J.D. Vance were simply to say, we have a plan for health care, that is actually a lie. And according to Donald Trump, it's a lie. Donald Trump said in the last debate, he said they have a concept of a plan, which, of course, we have no idea what that is.
Well, look, I think that what Governor Walz is going to be prepared to say and what Governor Walz likely will say is that, look, they've been telling us what they're going to do when it comes to health care. And today our campaign put out exactly what that means.
So
I just want to start off by saying that I've never.
Tim Walz thinks you're just rocks and cows. He wants single-payer government run Medicare for all. Trump releasing this beautiful video today. Oh, here's Trump's senior advisor, Danielle Alva, about JD going to hit a home run on.
The reintroduction
We need to talk about policy. We need to talk, first of all, this is about the top of the ticket. This is about President Trump and Kamala Harris. So what you're going to hear from JD is a reintroduction about him. He came, again, from Middletown, Ohio. You're going to hear a lot about his background, his turbulent upbringing, and his ability to achieve the American dream, his desire to work with President Trump to make that American dream achievable to everyone else across the country. But the main focus, which I know that JD is going to hit a home run on, is talking about those policies that voters care about the most. I think Tim Walz is going to have a hard time doing that. How does he defend Kamala Harris's record when we know in rallies he said, we can't sustain this anymore? We know Kamala Harris has said, we need to turn the page. That's right. We need to turn the page from them. They've been here for 3.5 years. They have failed on the economy. They have failed on inflation. They have failed on the border. They have failed with fentanyl pouring in, with safety, and with chaos both at home and abroad. And I think that's going to be the key to success. Voters want to hear about the issues that are most important to them.
Anyone playing drinking games tonight? Trump senior advisor Jason Miller, the Tim Walz we see on the campaign trail, he's bouncing around dancing.
And pointing to Kamala.
So, Jason, is Tim Walz a moron?
Well, two things can be true at the same time here. Again, the Tim Walz that we see on the campaign trail is he's bouncing.
So, Jason, is Tim Walz a moron?
Well, two things can be true at the same time here. Again, the Tim Walz that we see on the campaign trail as he's bouncing around and dancing and pointing to Kamala Harris and looking kind of goofy is not the Tim Walz that shows up in debates. And Casey, I will tell you, I've watched more debate footage of Tim Walz than anyone should ever be forced to do. But here's the thing. He's been in office for 2 decades. J.D. Vance has been in official office for 2 years, but Tim Walz has been in office for 2 decades. He's good. He was in Congress. He's in his second term as governor of the state of Minnesota. When he shows up and hits that stage, he's disciplined, he's on point, and he lies through his teeth. And that's the thing that most people who are tuning in tonight, or many of the people, I should say, will not have watched Tim Walz bouncing around on the campaign stage. What they will see is tonight they'll see Tim Walz for the first time. And he will come across with very much an aw shucks Minnesota persona. But what he's going to have an issue is how does he defend his record? How does he defend Kamala Harris's record? And to be honest, he has to defend Joe Biden's record as well.
Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. Good luck with that. It's going to be a fun debate tonight. Here's Tim Walz avoiding any questions as usual as he was heading to New York for the debate.
How do you feel this morning?
Oh, thumbs up. Yeah, gotta go. Yep, avoiding questions as usual.
In the history, Kamala Harris, more than any candidate in the history of presidential politics, is running away from a record instead of to a record. Donald Trump had a record to be proud of, and Kamala Harris has a record to be ashamed of. Exploding inflation, that's on Kamala Harris. Groceries you can't afford, that's on Kamala Harris. Housing that is unaffordable for young American families, that is on Kamala Harris. And a wide open border, that's on Kamala Harris too. So let's say to Kamala Harris, you're fired. We're not sending you to the White House. We see the border wall sitting here, ready to be completed behind us. And that can't happen because of Kamala Harris's administration. For American leadership, our compassion must start with American citizens. It must start with people right here at home. Donald Trump and I, we're going to cut taxes for American workers, and we're going to raise tariffs on companies that are shipping jobs overseas. We want normal Americans to be able to afford a decent life in their own country. It sounds so simple, but it's got to happen. And one of the ways we're going to do it is drill, baby, drill. Get that stuff out of the ground, get it from our own people, get it from our own workers, and not from tin pot dictators all over the world.
So, as we've seen, the stakes in this debate couldn't be higher. Vance represents a return to American values and strength, while Walz embodies the failed policies that have brought our cities to their knees. But the real question is, will the American people see through the media bias and recognize the truth? What moments from tonight's debate do you think are going to resonate most with voters? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. All right, let's get your real-time reaction to... I think it's going to be funny, man. I think Walz is just going to be, like you heard him say, an aw shucks guy. Oh, he's trying to come off like all folksy. Like, do you see that video of him like working on a car You can tell the guy who knows the car and his air filter in his car. Like he works in his car all day. Come on. All this stuff's staged. All of it's staged. That's what they're going to try to present him tonight. There's no T in Walz. The government loves what? Walls don't work. Walls don't work. That's funny. I hope Americans learn a lesson in 2020. Walls is weird. Protect the horsies. Did you know if you don't drill oil, it builds up pressure in the form of a volcano? Is that right? Vance will kick Walz' ass, says Sure You. God bless JD Vance. Go, JD, go. Truckers for Trump walk off the job 2 weeks before the election to protest the possibility of Harris administration. Oh, boy. I don't think we can handle that. Okay. JD Vance is going to obliterate Tampon Tim Walz tonight. JD Vance is going to win the vice presidential debate hands down. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Our next segment. This one is I'm going to have to kind of dance around some stuff here because some of the content, I don't even like saying some of these words. So just hold on. And Brian, make sure you get your in points and out points correct because I've been noticing that they have not been correct. I had to make a lot of fixes yesterday, so please make sure you get them done. Okay. Folks, the left is having a complete meltdown, and it's a sight to behold. MSNBC's Eddie Glaude nearly broke down in tears on live TV, claiming Kamala Harris needs to win to protect babies. The hypocrisy is staggering. This is the same man who advocates for abortion rights, yet he can't spare a tear for the victims of the migrant crime wave unleashed by Biden and Harris open border policies. The left's selective outrage is on full display, and we're going to break it all down for you. Now, check this out. Are you listening? As the left melts down over Trump's rising popularity, our country's national debt has surpassed $35 trillion. We're borrowing just to pay interest, digging a deeper hole. Meanwhile, gold has surpassed $2,400 an ounce. Smart money is shifting from paper promises to what the Constitution deems real money, gold and silver. So if you have funds sitting in a low-interest bank account or a 401k IRA retirement account, you need to call my friends at Global Gold Investments, America's leading conservative precious metals dealer, and receive absolutely free their new 2024 Protect Your Wealth and Retirement Guide. Call that number on the screen, 888-700-4148. Mention Next News and receive their 5-star customer treatment along with their complimentary portfolio analysis. Operators are standing by. Call 888-700-4148 or visit IRAGoldproof.com. Remember, if you don't have gold, then you don't have wealth. You'll find the link in the description below. Okay, so we'll kick this off. This was going viral today, and this guy suffers severely from Trump derangement syndrome. And it got so bad that even Claire McCaskill told him to take a deep breath. MSNBC panelist Eddie Glaude nearly starts crying on live air, says Kamala Harris needs to win to protect babies so children don't get bombed. I wasn't quite sure what he was talking about here, so let's watch.
And the Liz Cheney, Donald Trump got in 2020. So it took historic numbers to beat him, right? And so now we get enamored with the Dick Cheneys and the Liz Cheneys and the Flakes and the da-da-da-da, right? And this man is running around here busting his chops, scaring the hell out of communities. Right? And we're trying to figure out how to keep that middle, locked in on her when she needs to bust him in his mouth. I'm saying it like that because he's dangerous. He's dangerous.
Need to bust him in his mouth, he says. And then he realizes, and he goes, because he's dangerous. I mean, here he is. This guy's inciting violence right now. Okay, I'll back it up. I know you guys don't like when I interrupt, so here I'll back it up for you.
In on her when she needs to bust him in his mouth. I'm saying it like that because he's dangerous. He's dangerous to particular people. And the history of the country is such that we can't play fast and loose with it. Isn't
it incumbent on all of us to protect the people who are in danger by him?
But you never have.
Who?
That's the rub. You never have. And so part of what we have to do in the midst of this is to engage in a deep-seated political calculus, right? Even though we know that she has to get the middle, we got to come out and try to figure out how to turn out in large historic numbers, because we got to keep this troglodyte out of office. Because if he comes in, our babies are going to be in danger. Because remember, those young children are going to grow up with the memory of having to not go to school for the threat of bombs. And somebody told them that their moms and dads eat cats. They eat cats and dogs. I'll get myself together, Claire.
Okay, take a minute. Deep breath.
Well, what about that?
I understand what you're saying. It is.
Okay, so what is this guy? What is he saying? Kids are afraid to go to school for threats of bombs? What is that even a reference to? I couldn't find any like current bomb threats in schools. Is that a thing now? Am I missing something? And the stuff he's talking about in Ohio? Yeah. Maybe if he dug a little deeper, he'd find the truth. Maybe he'd find the police reports and the videos of people. I mean, I've seen the videos of them actually eating dogs. I've seen it. Yeah. Go on X. Just type it in. You'll find it. It's there. It's horrific. But here's the problem with this guy. Here's the problem. He says Harris needs to win to protect babies. This guy is an advocate for abortion. He cares about babies so much. I responded to this. I said, wait, so Eddie wants to codify abortion rights in one breath, but now he's crying on MSNBC about protecting babies from bombs. Which is it? Funny how basic decency changes when it fits the narrative. Here's what he said in August 7th. Republicans are going to throw around the words liberal and radical to scare voters. What do you mean? He actually said this. Republicans are going to throw around the words liberal and radical to scare voters. This is an old strategy. Don't fall for the shorthands. There is nothing radical about free lunch for kids, strengthening workers' rights, investing in affordable housing, codifying abortion rights. Maybe all this is basic decency and reflects a responsibility for the common good. Oh man. And meanwhile, he's using rhetoric about punching him in the face, calling him dangerous. How many times have they used this extreme rhetoric that stirs up so much hatred from the left? That's all these people do. Meanwhile, never saying a word about what's happening. This was a difficult report for me to compile because I had to look at information that was very, very, very disturbing about people and children, women, all victims of Kamala Harris's open border, of the border czar. I'm going to run down a little list here. Here's one. This is 3 days ago. Dallas, Texas County. Wilden Benega Secuda arrested for indecency. Now, I'm not going to say a lot of these things, so you're going to have to look at the screen because I don't want to even say these words. Okay? So do me a favor. Just look at the screen. You'll understand why. You can see it right there. Indecency. He has an immigration detainer hold. Crawford County, Wisconsin, Alejandro Jose Cornel Zarate arrested for domestic disorderly conduct, domestic battery, strangulation, suffocation, and that right there. Those 2 lines. Small city, rural Wisconsin, population just 5,400, announced the arrest of suspected Venezuelan gang member who allegedly violated violently and did something. I can't even read this stuff, man. This stuff is just horrible. Here, I'll let this guy do it for me.
Hit and run. 20-year-old man, he's facing DWI charges in a hit-and-run crash in Dallas that injured several children, some seriously. Police say 20-year-old Jose Castro was also traveling fast when he slammed into a vehicle with 2 adults and 6 children inside. The crash happened as the victim's vehicle turned from Rugged Drive onto West Ledbetter Drive in central Oak Cliff. A 4-year-old child was ejected from the vehicle and taken to the hospital in critical condition. A 5-year-old boy was also seriously injured. The rest of the children were taken to the hospital and are recovering. The 2 adult victims in the car were not injured. Dallas police say Castro ran from the crash scene but was later arrested in a nearby neighborhood. Jail records indicate Castro is in the country illegally.
That's just one. There's countless stories. Here's another one. This guy got in an argument over a jukebox.
Shooter, and the video is tough to watch. A man shoots another multiple times, and it all happened in the middle of a restaurant. Police tracked down the suspected shooter, and he has been arrested. Did an argument over a song on a jukebox lead to murder? It's what witnesses say happened inside this restaurant off Davie Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale early Monday morning. Surveillance video from inside shows 2 men talking before things escalate and get physical. Then the man in the red pulls out a gun, firing 1 shot. We've stopped the video before more shots were fired. The suspected gunman, Cesar Estrada, was arrested by U.S. Marshals and the Fort Lauderdale Police Department's fugitive unit. The man killed was identified as Socorro Camacho. The medical examiner's office removed his body from the scene for autopsy. Restaurant staff says Camacho was a regular customer and good person. Estrada is facing a first-degree murder charge. He was denied bond and refused to show up in court Wednesday morning. Police have not said if the suspect and victim knew one another. The video.
This is just a snapshot of the disaster that is Kamala Harris's America. All of these things could have been avoided if the border was shut down. It could have all been avoided. Yismael Blanco Gonzalez arrested for aggravated blank. Another one, a man accused of injuring 6 children in a DUI crash. We played that report. And this guy right here says that if we don't vote for Kamala Harris, babies are going to get hurt. Kamala Harris needs to win to protect babies and so children don't get bombed. We need to elect Donald Trump so that we can deport all these criminals. That's what's important. This guy on MSNBC just spewing more hateful rhetoric. That's all he's doing. Stirring up the people the 3 people who are still watching MSNBC. This was not an easy report to compile, guys. I mean, there was too much to go through. Things I don't even want to say, talk about.
1,500. Yeah, and Sandra, bear with me. We just got these numbers moments ago, but it's a jaw dropper to say the least. So to set the stage here, let me just explain what these numbers mean. ICE has something called a non-detained docket. Essentially what that is it means migrants who were encountered by DHS but are no longer in federal custody. So who's on this non-detained docket? It's illegal immigrants who were caught and released at the border, released with the court date years away. They're in immigration proceedings, combined with illegal immigrants who have already been ordered deported from the country by a judge but are still here roaming the country. So keep that in mind, this non-detained docket.
All these people are here illegally, causing those crimes. Kids getting murdered. I don't want to say this, other things. And the left's going to go ahead and tell you that if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, that babies are going to get hurt as they push for abortion. We are living in clown world USA. There's no other way to put it. So the left's hysteria over Trump and their blind support for Harris expose a deep-seated fear that the American people are waking up to their failed policies. From open borders to economic mismanagement, the evidence is clear. But here's what I want to know from you. What do you think is driving this extreme emotional response from the left? Is it genuine concern or just a desperate attempt to cling to power? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I had second thoughts about doing that story. I really did. I didn't want to do it. But when I saw this guy going viral, I'm like, man, these people need to be just exposed. That's the only reason I did it. Because I'm like, how can this guy have the audacity to say these things? And then, like, the first point was like talking about babies getting bombed or something. I'm like, you're the same. And I looked him up. I'm like, this guy supports abortion. Of course he does. So how can, like, the hypocrisy, it just blows my mind. And then I thought about all the victims of all these migrant crimes. Where are his tears for them? You vote for Kamala, you vote for the destruction of this country. Plain and simple. Okay, let's get your thoughts on this, man. Okay, all they got are lies to run on, says Alfred. We are the ones we've been waiting for, says End the Madness. This guy is a hypocrite and evil, says Angie Warren. This month is going to be crazy, says B. Eastwood. Yeah, another virus lockdown is the only thing that's missing, right? Well, that would just be the icing on the cake right now, wouldn't it? The World Health Organization come out. We are recommending that you all go to lockdown because of the monkeypox. Right? Longshoremen, natural disasters, monkeypox. Yeah, good point. Who else is here? They're dog whistling for more lunatics, says Avalex LLC. Russia will win the war against NATO and... Oh, wow. Constantinople. They already took over Constantinople, bro. You guys already took that, so chill. I've seen in the past, and yes, it wasn't picked up. Topsy-turvy world, Gary, yes, and the Madness, yes it is. Eats the bugs! Eats the bugs. He wants to talk about saving the children, but Planned Parenthood has been destroying the black community since the 70s with abortions. Keep your pox out of my reach. Multifaceted October surprise. Thank you, John. Love you too, man. Multifaceted October surprises. Monday plus. What? Oh, monkey. Okay, I get it. I see what you did there. Okay, that's funny. That was funny. Okay, we must practice being positive. I try, Randy. I do. This stuff gets to me, though. Okay. Let's get to... This is a good story now. This is a good story. This is a positive story. This is a good story now. I'm going to introduce you to somebody. You may not know. You're going to know, though. Okay? Okay. Need a good story. Tonight, we've got a bombshell is going to shake the political establishment. 2 major Trump-related releases are on the horizon. First, Shane Bouvet's book, A Man Misunderstood, promises to reveal the Trump the media won't show you. Then there is The Man You Don't Know, a documentary by Christopher Martini and Global Ascension Studios. In fact, I interviewed Christopher Martini back in 2013 when I was on television news. Now, these are separate projects. They offer behind-the-scenes looks at the man who brought peace to the Middle East, stood up to China, and put America first. Folks, this could change the course of the election, so we need everybody to see this documentary and get this book. Now, as we anticipate this explosive new Trump book and movie, let's talk about something else the media doesn't want you to know about. Most guys think their testosterone is being drained by aging or genetics, but the real culprit? Well, it's a food you eat daily that you have been told is healthy. This one food devastates testosterone levels, draining your energy and crushing your motivation. But here's the good news. Cutting it out could transform how you feel. V-Shred has seen it firsthand. Guys are building muscle, burning fat, and feeling energized. Want to know what it is? Head over to sculptnation.com/NNN and watch the video. The simple change could unlock your true potential, just like Trump did for America. Now, I want you to meet somebody. He's actually a local guy. His name's Shane Bouvet. He's got this new book. It's literally just about to drop. A Man Misunderstood. Get your copy and learn about the true Donald Trump. These are stories you will never hear. You won't hear them on Fox. You won't hear them on any channel. But you'll hear about them from Shane's own experience. Beth Rogers says, this is my longtime friend Shane Bouvet and dad Don Bouvet with POTUS 45. God bless the USA. Now, why is this interesting? Now, before I show it to you, I got some clips here of Shane. But here he is with the president. What's he holding in his hand there? This is the beauty of Donald Trump. I'll tell you right now. And I got a movie trailer. We're going to play the movie trailer in a moment. But Shane has gone from blue collar all the way to the Oval Office. Look, there he is. There he is with Trump in the Oval Office. Look at them sitting there, hanging out. What a moment that would be. I've met Trump once. I can tell you that story later. But what happened here? Look at this. Okay, here he is again. How many times has he met this guy? Look at this. Boom. Look at that check. You see that check? $5,000 right there. Another one for $10,000 from Donald Trump. Donald Trump paid for Shane's father's chemotherapy. Paid out of his pocket. And Shane's father is on the mend now. Amen. Because Donald Trump did it. Helped. Let's listen to Shane's firsthand account here first.
Against Adam Kinzinger. How does a small-town FedEx worker end up in the Oval Office? Well, let me tell you. My story is your journey. And together, I am the Rudy of politics. And I never gave up. I never give up. I never give up. I wanted to do this book because it was the right thing to do. After seeing my president almost get assassinated, not only my president, but my friend, I knew I had to take action. That's when I reached out to a friend of mine named Jack Lombardi, who ran against Adam Kinzinger. I knew that he would be up for the task to defend and protect this Constitution that we all revere, that we don't want to lose. Everything's up for grabs. Kamala Harris, I call her flip-flop Kamala Harris, is trying to impose a 25% taxation on capital gains, which would destroy the livelihoods of our farmers, teachers, and blue-collar workers across the board. We must fight to unite together as a team. And Jack's seen the, what I love about Jack is he's a guy that stands up for truth. And what's going on is that we have a truth war going on. And we're going to win. We got to win. And I can't stress this out enough. It's about for me to expose the truth about this man. Because at first I didn't know if I was going to like him. But I tell you what, it's a misconception of what's going on. He's misunderstood. And I have a book coming out. Well, that's a surprise. Man Misunderstood.
Now, if you want to get the book, go to amanmisunderstood.com/pre-order. We'll just jump over to the website real quick. Here it is. A Man Misunderstood. The Secret Heart of Donald J. Trump. It's more than a book. It's an inside look at the real Donald Trump, told through the personal experiences of Shane Bouvet, a loyal campaign volunteer who witnessed firsthand Trump's acts of kindness and dedication to everyday Americans. It's only available for pre-order. It's got lots of endorsements from Tyrus, Corey Lewandowski, Marla Maples, and of course Donald Trump himself is the centerpiece. But it's what Donald Trump did for his family, Shane's family, that you need to learn about. And Shane's been out there on the front lines asking people if Donald Trump's been misunderstood. Listen to these responses.
I gotta ask. Who are you? My name is Shane Bouvet. My dad had cancer, and Donald Trump paid for his chemotherapy all out of his pocket. I think he's a man that's misunderstood.
What happened? Play.
Oh, absolutely. This guy is the most humble, caring man I've ever met in my life, and I'm here to expose the truth. So I'm just asking you guys, do you think he's a misunderstood man?
100%. Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%.
He's the most loving guy I've ever met.
He's done that to a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'm trying to expose the truth.
The country's still brainwashed.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your help. God bless.
Shane's a great guy. He's had some wonderful experiences. Donald Trump's helped him. And he's also in this new film that is about to be released. It's called The Man You Don't Know. It really feels like it's in the same vein of Shane's own book. Global Ascension Studios presents The Man You Don't Know. Set to release, latest production, an in-depth documentary exploring the lesser-known aspects of President Donald J. Trump, directed by Christopher Martini. Film scheduled for release before the 2024 election. And I do have the trailer. And we do have Joshua Marciello from Global Ascension. He was recently, just actually 20 hours ago, he was on with Wayne Root. We'll get his comments. But first, let's watch the trailer together.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans representing extremism.
Donald Trump is a great threat to our democracy.
The greatest threat the world faces.
It's destructive to our democracy to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump. He has to be eliminated.
That he is a misogynist, homophobic, racist.
Eliminated. Someone's on top of the roof. Look.
You want me to tell you something about Donald Trump that the media doesn't know? How about this? He's a wonderful human being.
My father's a man who has a heart of gold, and it's the side that a lot of America does see, and the side that the media doesn't want you to see.
This is a guy running for president. He had no place else he would rather be than right there with his granddaughter in her pre-K class.
He's a very generous, honest, nice guy.
He's done a lot of incredible things for a lot of people, but he's not willing to take credit for it.
My only child, he was hit head-on by an illegal alien with 2 felony convictions, and I started to become suicidal. As I was telling him about losing my best friend, I could see him tear up. Donald Trump didn't just save my life, he helped me share my Dominic.
He is actually very relatable.
Hello, everybody.
When you break him down, he's actually just a regular guy. He's a great athlete, loves to watch sports.
He's a really good golfer. He's crushing hot dogs on the course.
What's your specialty today?
He's an all-American type person. He loves good casual food.
He just like his chocolate bars.
The deals we have with other countries are unbelievably bad.
He can't stand to see things not done the right way.
You should be rewarded for competence and capability in doing a job.
When you look at what he's gone through, them trying to break him, trying to kill him, he's still out there fighting.
This guy has been tested in every possible way. It's inspiring.
I'll call him on the phone as a friend and be like, hey, you good? How you doing? Unfazed.
He threatens this entire system of the corruption that is the U.S. government.
With all of these forces coming against him, not for a moment did he ever show that insecurity or fear that someone might feel when they don't know what's going to happen to them tomorrow. And that is who Donald Trump is.
Coming to theaters. You know what's cool about this thing? There's a lot of documentaries about Donald Trump, things he's done for the country. But we don't know what he's done for guys like Shane. I mean, helping his father with cancer. I mean, Shane's told me some stuff I can't share here that would blow your mind about how Donald Trump practically saved Shane's own life. Absolutely beautiful stories. And this film is going to be released real soon. The book's coming out. Make sure you grab a copy, okay? Everybody? Let's go check out... sorry, I'm getting a little broken up here. Okay, let's watch this. Let's watch the Joshua from the studio talking about the new film.
Helping save. So what does your movie tell us from the interviews what kind of guy he is? Tell us some stories.
You know, I got to meet him at Mar-a-Lago. We premiered the Relentless Patriot there. So I got to meet him at Mar-a-Lago, and I told him I was going to do a movie that was going to open the world's eyes. And media, just so you know, this studio was formed to take media back. Media has been, just very, very one-sided and demonic and just trying to tear good people down. What we were able to do is to get some of his oldest relationships. I mean, we got folks in the movie that have been friends with President Trump for over 60 years. We got folks in the entertainment business that have been friends with him for over, 30 years. And I made a promise to him face to face when I did spend time with him this year that we were going to tell a story and we were going to do it the right way. And Global Ascension Studios, I believe, lived up to the hype. I think that when everybody sees this film, they're gonna be very, very fired up. I think they're going to be very emotional. As you said, when you mentioned the escalator ride, there was a very famous elevator ride that took place before the escalator ride that not many people on this world know about. And there was some things said on that elevator that the world's going to know. And, it's been really.
Spoiler alert, no, I'm not going to tell you. I know what happened in that elevator ride down. I've heard the story. It's an amazing story, but you're going to have to watch the movie to find out.
Really exciting to work with all these people from the entertainment industry to politics to big business, and some of his closest friends and family.
One of my favorite stories, I sent him a note in 2015, he was running, and I said, "You're such a great conservative, but people don't know that. Other than me, most Republican voters don't know that. They just know you as a celebrity. You got to prove to them you're like Reagan. So you got to release a Reagan-like tax plan." And Trump reads it and goes, he sends me a note back. "You're 100% right. I need a Reagan-like tax plan. How quick can you write it?" And and I wrote it. And that was the first tax plan he ever released. So, I mean, and I was a total stranger to the guy. I wrote his tax plan. I mean, there's stories about him I could tell you that would be so entertaining. I wish you'd gotten to me before you made the film, because I would have added a lot to it. But I can't wait to watch the film, because I'm sure you've got stories of a lifetime about this guy. Give us, before we go, what surprised you the most? What was the one story that you didn't know about Trump that really was a shocker that people will just go, wow, when they hear it?
You know, you hear about him being very philanthropic with people. But when I tell you, you know, and this is what this movie was really about. Yeah, we had the family and some entertainment friends, but the real stories you're going to hear are the ones from the people that had nowhere to turn. Life was absolutely demolishing them. And President Trump came in and rescued, whether it's rescuing a farm or whether it's helping save somebody's life. We've heard 30, 40, I mean, so many countless stories. So you believe that you think you know when you back him up that he's a good guy. But when you hear the same theme of his generosity and how much he was there to help others, man, Wayne, I couldn't tell you, man, I was so overwhelmed.
So what did you...
Maybe Donald Trump will save this network. You know, they're trying to destroy this network, trying to bankrupt us here at Next News. And we are on thin ice every day. I have to put together all the news, all the graphics, report it, publish it with the help of Brian, our producer. It is very difficult, especially financially, since we've been demonetized. It's crushing. It is crushing. But I want to share a story with you right now. Now, you may have heard me tell this story before, but it's a story about when I met Donald Trump for the first time. And it was at a fundraiser in Milwaukee back in, I believe, 2019. And we had to drive up there, took my whole family. We got tickets. And when I went to have my picture taken, I went to this VIP area and they asked me to present my card as to who was going to be in the photograph and who's allowed in this VIP area. Well, my wife was not permitted. My wife's name was left off the card. I asked Secret Service repeatedly. I asked the organizers repeatedly, how do I get my wife in this picture? Well, it's too late. You have to go through a secondary background check, and it's just too late. So it was just me. Just me. And I went and waited. I was like, I don't know, 26th person or something. And I waited and waited and eventually went up to President Trump. And as everyone's going through the motions for these photographs, they are, presenting their babies, kissing the babies and shaking hands, and everyone's super excited. And of course, I was excited, but I was also pained that my wife, who is my partner in all we do here at Next News, I could not do anything here without her. I mean, she is the perfect balance for me, and she is God's gift to my life. And I would not want her to miss that moment with Donald Trump. So I walk up to President Trump and I say, I had this long look on my face, and he's kind of taken back at the moment. And he says, what's the problem here? Because, of course, he's used to seeing everyone with big beaming smiles. And I had this long look on my face. And I showed him the card. I said, well, my wife's supposed to be in this picture, but her name wasn't on the card. And he says, well, you better go get your wife then. And I spun around and I saw the Secret Service agents in the corner of the room. And I pointed and I said, you guys heard that, right? I was like super excited. Like, the president is now bypassing Secret Service protocol because he's the commander in chief. He's the only one that can do it. And orders Secret Service to go get my wife. I step outside the room and I'm standing next to the deputy chief of staff, this super tall blonde woman. And she asked me what my wife's wearing, where she's seated, and I describe her. And I'm standing there and I'm waiting, and I can see through a window. A few minutes later, Secret Service is now ushering my wife in through this beautiful garden, beautiful mansion. And what ends up happening is she comes walking up to this garden entryway, big glass and everything. And my wife Angie puts her hands over her mouth. She goes, "You didn't forget me." I say, "I will never forget you." And she runs into my arms and we embrace. And I look up as I'm embracing my wife, and I see the Secret Service agents in the corner wiping their eyes. I see this deputy chief of staff. She's wiping her eyes. Everyone's having this like emotional response to my wife and I, because I was not going to leave her behind. And I got a tap on my shoulder, and the deputy chief of staff goes, "Sir, the president has a schedule. We have to get the photo." So I grabbed my wife by the hand and I said, so cliche, but it was like, "Angie, honey, let's go meet the president." And we walked up. Nobody was in line now. We were the last people there. But there was the woman of the house, the woman who owned the property, who was, I didn't know it was going to disrupt her moment, but it ended up disrupting her moment with the president. Because we're standing there and the Secret Service is trying to keep everything on schedule. Deputy Chief of Staff keep everything on schedule. And this woman who owns the house goes, "I'm the last person, Mr. President," and she's going to have her 5 minutes with him privately. And the Deputy Chief of Staff steps in and goes, no, ma'am, they're the last people." And they had to rush her off so Angie and I could go and step up and have our photograph with the president. I walk up. I'm super excited now. We take the picture and hand President Trump my card for the Next News Network. And I say, "Mr. President," I said, "thank you. We have 1 billion views on YouTube supporting you, sir." And you know what he says? He says, "Well, you better, after what I just did." And I walk out of the room, and this Secret Service lady, she was a little shorter than I. She as I'm walking past her, she pats me on the back. She says, "Well done. Well done." I'll never forget that. But the point I'm trying to make in tying this story in with this movie and this book is that President Trump recognized the moment that I was not going to leave my wife behind. He recognized the importance of that. And that moment to me. And he, the commander-in-chief, overrode the Secret Service protocol with his executive authority for me. You know what's funny is like all these years we've never had any acknowledgement from them before, which is weird. Like on social media, there's never been like a tweet or a post or like, "Hey, thanks for all you guys are doing over there at Next News." Never anything like that. It'd be nice maybe one day, but that moment was really all I needed. And it's moments like that that humanize the man. People don't know about those moments. And that's what this book is about. A Man Misunderstood. amanmisunderstood.com. And that's what this movie's about. So make sure that you go out, you get a copy of this book, you see this film when it's in theaters, and support these people and learn the true stories, the true testimonies about people's lives who've been touched by President Trump. The stories the media won't tell you. The media has it in for him because they're part of the problem. They're part of the machine. They have an agenda because they want to keep the status quo, and Donald Trump's a disruptor. He's a disruptor because the people have the power, and he's trying to give that power back to the people, and the president does that in these small, unheard of moments that you never ever hear about. Like the one I just shared with you. How Shane's life was changed from a FedEx worker, father having cancer, President Trump paying for it. Countless other stories, my friends. Remember, President Trump, he's a good guy, man. He's a good guy. And we got to set the record straight. Are you with me on that? I know you are. Shane Beauvais' book and Christopher Martini's documentary, they promise to show us sides of President Trump the mainstream media has desperately tried to hide. Now, these projects, they offer a chance to see the real man behind the headlines, the leader who put America first. And I want to hear from you. What aspects of Trump's presidency do you think that Beauvais' book and Martini's film should highlight? What stories have you ever had? Have you ever encountered President Trump at a rally? Standing in line? Comment below. Let me tell your story. Because the filmmaker and Shane, they'll be reading the comments in there. Maybe you'll make the deleted scenes. I don't know. Share your thoughts, though, in the comments below. Oh, man. I get too worked up. I wear my emotions on my sleeve sometimes. But hey, that's who I am. I get criticized for it too, but you know what? Some people just don't know how to share the real. John Doe says Trump is the American lion. Before he was president, my boss prank called him. His secretary was a lovely lady. Boyd says he drove by me as his motorcade exited the Coliseum in Rock Hill after his rally. He was waving out the window. Sherry says you have a big heart. Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. It's part of having a heart, says Nunu. Oh, boy. Democrats are so angry. They won't let you talk. They yell, get excited, not worth it. Okay. Let's check in on the latest news from the feed. Find out what's going on in the latest from Israel. Trump saying he will shut down the Department of Education. Certainly needs to be done. Education does not need to be run from the government. It needs to be local. And that's how they take over from the top. Let's see. Pope Francis leads top cardinals in atoning for a host of... Oh, my goodness. That woman in that clip. My goodness. I'm glad I scrolled past that. War is a Racket by Spindley Butler. Truth Stream Media. From Iran with Love. Byron Donald shocks the Breakfast Club, brings host to silence after proving Kamala Harris caused the current inflation crisis. Shall we listen in? Okay.
Yes. Vice President. I would argue we're not really thriving right now. This inflation, which, by the way, was brought to us by Kamala Harris, has really slowed down people from being able to excel.
By Kamala?
Yes.
Vice President.
Oh, Charlemagne.
It's still the president.
Charlemagne, listen, man. When Joe Biden wanted to do his American Rescue Plan, Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate. She broke the tie that started this inflation that has hurt so many people in our country. Everybody listening to your show. It's not true?
First of all, it's a tie-breaking vote.
You sure you want to go there?
Go outside, Congressman, when you go outside.
You sure you want to go there? Okay, let's go there.
You had it.
You got notes. You got notes, Angela, right?
That's fine. I have notes too.
I'm gonna give it to Charlamagne.
I have today
I'm gonna give it to Charlamagne.
is that on
I don't
every
even want to
question
hold it.
I've asked,
because Angela,
for every infrastructure project in your community,
you can go to
should
third
go
page,
out
just the
and
highlighted
thank
portion.
Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the Congress that voted for the American Rescue Plan.
Angela,
That's what should be happening.
Larry Summers wrote an op-ed back in 2021. Larry Summers was the Treasury Secretary for Bill Clinton. He was an economic advisor to Barack Obama. He said that the American Rescue Plan that Joe Biden wanted, that Kamala Harris was the tie-breaking vote in the United States Senate, would create a massive inflation that we have not seen in a generation. Well, guess what? Larry Summers was correct. You know who also was correct, Angela? I was, because I was in the budget committee when they brought the bill. And I said in that committee, it's going to cause massive inflation. That's what happened. So the problem we have in our economy today is that prices have gone up massively. Wages adjusted for inflation is down. People's pocketbooks are hurting.
Bring in the receipts. Gotta love it. Let's see. Excuse me. America First Legal. Let's see. Where is... Let's see. Israel. Oh my. Some of this stuff, dude, I just can't even go there. It's just too much, man. Why is GoFundMe trending? GoFundMe is trending. Trump has a GoFundMe set up for the victims of hurricane that's raising millions in relief funds. Yes. Team Trump. President Trump's launched a GoFundMe campaign as an official response for MAGA supporters to offer their financial assistance to fellow Americans impacted by Hurricane Helene. Beautiful. It's raised over $3 million so far. That was published over, $3 million. As of Tuesday afternoon, GoFundMe page has reached $3,083,000. Initial goal was $1 million. And that was just hours after the page was created. Where's the link to it? Come on, guys, link to it. Where's the link? My goodness. Some of the stuff that's going on, man. Meanwhile, they're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan. These people are going to suffer for a long time. There's going to be no relief from the federal government. There's going to be no relief from the Biden administration here. Complete devastation. Chimney Rock, North Carolina. Gorgeous mountain tourist town near Lake Lurie was all but washed away by Hurricane Helene. President Trump is stepping up to the plate. So tonight's the big debate, guys. Make sure you watch it. Share the reports we've got here for you. Remember to get the documentary. Check out the documentary when it's in theaters, and get Shane's book. So it's been quite a night. What we've covered. Yes, we covered the ground that the mainstream media wouldn't dare to touch, and we've done it without pulling any punches. So let's recap what we have witnessed tonight. We started with the terrifying reality of Iran's missile strike on Israel. World War III isn't just a possibility anymore. It's unfolding before our eyes. And where's our leadership? Nowhere to be found. Then we dove into the port strikes, crippling our economy. 45,000 workers walking off the job while union bosses live large. It's a crisis that could bring this country to its knees, and the Biden-Harris administration seems utterly clueless. We dissected the Vance-Walz debate, exposing the media's attempts to tilt the scales, but Vance is going to stand strong tonight. It's going to show America what real leadership looks like. We witnessed the left's complete meltdown with talking heads like Eddie Glaude nearly crying on the air. Their hypocrisy and selective outrage on full display, and we called it out. Finally, we got a sneak peek. 2 upcoming projects that promise to reveal the truth about President Trump. Shane Bouvet's book, A Man Misunderstood, and Christopher Martini's documentary, The Man You Don't Know, are set to expose what the media has been hiding all along. So now I need to level with you. This show, this platform is more than just news. It's a beacon of truth in a world of lies, but we can't keep fighting this battle alone. We need your support now more than ever. If you value the work we do, if you believe in the importance of honest, hard-hitting journalism, then please go to our website, link down below, make a donation. Every dollar helps us stay on the air and keep bringing you the truth. And don't stop there. Tell a friend about the show. Share our content. Be part of the movement to take back our country, because together we can make America great again. So thank you for joining us tonight. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and most importantly, stay free. Good night, America.